So the bulk of this section of class this week, was really intended to give you time to play with manipulating the data. Especially after seeing the results on the pre-assessment for, the class um, that you saw at the start of week two. I thought it'd be a good opportunity for you to kind of figure out some of the tools after seeing some examples. I do want to be clear that using Excel is one way to manipulate data. There are certainly other tools out there. I showed you the tool our district has with the data blender, and so I do find it, even though we have the data blender, when I'm looking at display manipulating data, I do tend to use Excel because of the color-coded features. You can also use Google Sheets or Google Drive if that's a tool you're used to. It's the same process. The formatting's a little bit differently, but if you learned how to format the Excel, you can format Google Sheets just as easily. So we, want to think about, starting to use this information for your assignment that's coming in week three, which would be the class project. So really want to be thinking about having more than one data point that you could look at to look for those patterns that we talked about. If you are interested in getting some feedback on your data display and just overall how you've organized it, you can certainly share that with me, and I'll give you a Gmail address that will work better if you're going to share that like in a Google Drive, or if you want to email me in Excel, that's fine. Email, you can use my Westchester email if you're sending a document. If you are creating something in Google Drive and want to share it with me, I'm going to put my Gmail address right here on the PowerPoint. So you'll see I've added my email, and that is for sharing something in Google Drive, just to be kind of clear on the purpose of that. So we want to start thinking about asking those priority questions. So I have given you a pre-coded set of data that will look something like this. This is what you'll see when you download the sample right below the video here. For you to look at this data set that's already color-coded for you. We're primarily looking at literacy, which we talked about before, why. And I want you to take some time to manipulate this to come up with a priority question. And I have a link to a Padlet for you to post that to it. Don't spend a lot of time. This is not about perfect question, but this is about connecting with what we've read this week in terms of coming up with those priority questions, and for you to get the feel for that, because it's something you're going to want to do in your data project. And I want you to keep in mind that when you are, as an instructional coach or leader in your building, when you are manipulating data ahead of time, because you'll certainly want to have this kind of data manipulated in advance for your teachers, you may already have some questions that have come to your mind as the person who's organized this for them. And so you want to be thinking about, what are some ways that you can begin to work with your teachers to get them to ask the same questions. And so you almost want to structure those team meetings, those grade level meetings, those building meetings to bring them to the same place that perhaps you may have arrived, or perhaps be ready to listen to say, hey, they actually had some noticings that I didn't consider when I was looking at this data. So anyway, so after you look at the sample data set, go post to the Padlet, and that way everybody can kind of see kind of the thinking, that's going on.